We are live.
Good
Morning,
morning,
Jennifer Lee.
Jesse.
Oh my goodness. So have you been on any Jumbotrons lately, Jen?
No, I have not. This is the biggest jumbotron that I have to deal with.
Oh man. I want maybe that whole Jumbotron experience could be kind of related to today's content or
I
conversation.
mean, you could probably it's probably could be weaved in somewhere.
Right? Like that marriage, they're gonna have to work through decluttering some negative vibes in a major way. And so this is like connected to the third S, right? Sort, set, shine. Um, so I don't know. Are you excited about this topic today? How do you feel about it?
Okay, I think it's an important topic. I think the conversation is very, very needed. I am not excited about it because you and I talk a lot about a lot of things that I am working on or that I'm struggling with or that I suck at
Yeah.
regarding this specific one. And I have no doubt that there's probably some questions that are going to get directed at me today. So that is not making me super excited.
Oh, yeah. No, there are some good things that we can pick apart for all the no BS tribe members out there in
Yes.
the Omniverse. Oh, look, we got our first offender,
Good
Mr.
morning. Good
James.
morning, Jim. How are you? Jim looks
That's,
like he's lost some weight.
yeah, he's looking sharp. Good, man. Super good. Glad to have you here, Mr. Jim, and always being super supportive. So I don't know. I guess we'll do it like a quick kind of rewind, right?
Yes.
This is kind of a reboot, relaunch, maybe not necessarily a relaunch, but just rehashing of the
Yes.
3S conversation. I'm sorry, 5S conversation that we had that kind of started this whole problem that we've been doing for what, 4 years now, Jen?
Yes.
Um, and so, we've grown, we've learned some things, and then there's some other seeds kind of sprinkled around in terms of a second book.
Mhm.
Is that too far, Jen? What do you think?
So no, well, okay. One, we have to just kind of say we did 5S based on Lean in Love, which is applying 5S to personal relationships. We did the live streams first, which was
Yep.
before No BS even existed. And those conversations then led to kind of the need for a platform to be able to continue those conversations. And that's where No BS was born.
Yes.
And then that was very early in our live streaming conversations, again, 4 years ago. And we've had a lot of stuff happen since then. And so I think our our conversation was, number one, let's go and have the conversations again with new tribe members and people that have kind of in our experiences. And what does that conversation look like now? And then also it's very focused on personal relationships. And then we thought, but we've done a lot of discussions on
Yeah.
our relationship with ourselves when it comes to
Yes.
mental health, when it comes to personal growth and careers and all the choices we're making when it comes to life. And then we're like, there could be a whole nother sequel to this that
Yes.
has to do with just each of those S's applied to our relationship that we have with ourselves.
Oh, so folks, y'all need to be ready. Look at that. We got Mr. Jared Wilson.
Good morning, Jared.
And then Mr. Uncommon Commute. James Gable, how you doing, my man?
Yes.
Coming in from Colorado. I anticipate that we'll be seeing these three handsome faces in Arlington. What do you think, Jen?
Oh, that's my hope. I know Jared's presenting, so I know Jared's there. Jim usually shows up and he's local and he's like killing some stuff. So I think absolutely. And then James, I'm so looking forward to.
Yes. Oh man, we'll be able to hang out there. All right. So we're going to get into it. We're going to be talking about, what are we talking about? Decluttering negative vibes. We got some solid questions, but we also got some housekeeping, Jen.
We do have some housekeeping. So those of you that are out there, thank you, Jim, Jared, and James. It's a J morning this morning. Thank you all for coming and chiming in on the chat. Those of you that are just popping in, just getting up, getting your coffee, like get settled. But we do want to know who's out there. So let us know in the chat. Let us know where you're kind of sitting and listening from. If you have been listening to us, or this is the first time that we've come across your feed and you're like, what are these crazy people doing today? We would like to know that it's your first time here, or your first time typing and contributing to the conversation. So if you will put a blue heart in the comment, you don't even have to put anything else if that's all you're comfortable doing. But the blue heart lets us know that we are, that you're new to us. And so we get to acknowledge you and welcome you. But then also our entire No BS tribe gets to now know we have a new member. And so they're going to give you some love and, connect with you on social media and also follow your content and stuff like that. So there's multiple things that happen. And then Jesse, what else happens when they put a comment in?
Well, the other thing that happens is they get put into the randomizer, which is, I guess, a raffle-y thing. So if you drop a comment in the chat, drop an emoji in the chat, one, we get to know that you're there and recognize you. But two, it puts your name in the hat at the top of the hour. We'll hit the button, and the winner, the person who gets selected, gets a free entry to the next emotional bungee jumper session and the next cultivation crew session, which we just wrapped up.
We did
the year curriculum, if you will, on the cultivation crew, which was the very last module we dove into, was reflection or thinking time, which seemed to have some pretty big impact. And so if you happen to win today's randomizer, you're going to be there for the kickoff of the next phase, if you will, which is quiet contribution.
I know.
And so, anyways, all that to say, drop your comment in there, drop your question. If you're a lurker, I love you. Thank you for supporting and spreading the word. But if you get the hankering to leave a comment, just do it, man. It'll get you in the thing, and hopefully you'll win, and we'll be able to hang out with you. I know Mr. Josh Wallace. He is another J. So
if you got a J name, make sure you put a comment in today.
Yeah, it's like all J's today. Jennifer, Jesse, James, Jared, James, Josh. Oh my goodness, that's gonna be a tongue twister. So yeah, no, I think I'm excited about the conversation because, like you said, there's a lot of things that, one, you and I have gotten better at speaking, and so folks, and everybody here are like the originals, right? The OGs. Like, y'all can let us know. Y'all were there in the beginning, and we were like, and so we've gotten smoother there. You and I have grown. The community has grown and matured. And so, like you said, the conversation then was really like, how do we apply the thinking to our external relationships, which is ultra, ultra important. And now it's okay. Now, how do we apply it internally? What's our relationship with ourselves, which again may end up being a book. We'll see. We'll let you guys know. And so we're going to talk about decluttering negative vibes, tying it back to the 5S system, which is, in this case, we're talking about the third S, shine, right? That's the book. That's the original book, that the kindling that started this inferno. And so I got a question for the folks I'm gonna throw up there, Jen, and then we'll just jump into it, right?
Okay.
So in terms of decluttering negative vibes, the question to you out there in the Omniverse is, what emotional clutter are you carrying? And I know some people might be saying emotional, like, what's that? Like, are you irritated with somebody? Did somebody get under your skin? Did somebody piss you off? Like, how many of those scenarios are you replaying, right? Or when you see that person, the hair on the back of your neck sticks up, and it's like, why? Like, that's not a rational response. There's something there. And I guess the gist of the conversation that Jen and I are going to have is around that. So please, if you're courageous enough, let us know, what are those things? And you know what? I'll give y'all a pass because I know how uncomfortable this is. You can also say, I know somebody that carries this, right? You can.
Speaking for a friend.
Yeah, speaking for a friend. These are things I've seen people do. We'll let that slide. And so, Jen, I guess the first thing in my mind is, like, in terms of the emotional clutter that we carry, what I think is an interesting idea is there's some stuff that I'm aware of,
yes,
right? That I know that somebody pissed me off, And then there's the stuff that kind of blindsides me. I'm like, whoa, I didn't know I had, like, there was something there. Do you have that like similar experience?
Well, I'm just gonna do a disclaimer right now. There's a really good chance that today's gonna get emotional just because I've had some very emotional things in our conversations over the last couple weeks that have hurt my heart. So there's a good chance just today, but yes is the answer to your question.
Okay, I like it. You see how I kind of eased in there with the
You did, yes.
Now, so when you have that kind of slap in the face moment, what is the first, like, what is your instinctual response to it?
To get defensive and then to attack. And that's me protecting myself. That's me protecting my emotions, my feelings, what I have been through and what I know is right and wrong and all of that. And for me personally, why, number one, that's probably not the best response. And number two, when you're dealing with your children, that cannot be your response.
It's gonna get juicy. I know it is. So let's give a shout out, Miss Dr. Carrie, coming in from
Good morning.
And she knows all, like, she's an expert in like the human dynamics.
Okay.
And all.
I'm gonna need some help today, Carrie. So you may need to help a little bit.
Yes, and then Jim says, "I know somebody that carries this." We all do. All right, so Jenna, again, I appreciate you saying, like, ooh, when it comes to family, and you mentioned, right, when that thing kind of comes up, it's not in your head, but something happens and it brings everything back, right? And so, like, for me, it's what happens, right? And same thing when it happens, when it happens with the most intensity is when I'm with my family. Like most people, you know, my friends and business and whatever, it's not as intense as when it's my family. But when it happens, it's like freaking 48 years of everything replays again. So clearly I got some work to do. But you said, like, you react this defensively and attack. And you also mentioned children. So, but you're the parent, right? Like, so what? They should just freaking listen. Isn't that what they're supposed to do?
I think to a point, and you and I've talked about this, so I'm sure your view of this will come through as well. And I think it's important that, and I'm just going to make a statement that just because someone has not gone through the exact same thing you have does not mean they have really good perspective. So I think it's always good to listen when someone's on the outside looking in, saying, here's my thoughts and what I see, because sometimes you are so in the middle of it that you can't see past it. And and so for yes is the answer to your question, is the emotional part of being a parent, and that it's your job. And I'm going to say it is our job and our obligation to help raise these children to become functioning, successful, good people. And that's our job. And I think the hard part is I mean, you kind of have them for the first 18 years, but there are some things that some groundwork you're laying. There's some integrity, morals, values that you're laying. And then there's just situational things that you may be able to teach it. Life may be able to teach it. Failure may be able to teach it. Hurt and just heartbreak may be able to teach. Like, there's a lot of that's not scripted. And that's not like, okay, next chapter. And now we're going to do this. Like, it's all woven together. And there's no, like, here's the playbook. Just follow this and everything will be great.
Yes. Oh, so, and I love that, because that's kind of, I think that's going to be valuable to everybody, right? Like being able to row with that. Like Dr. Carrie says, we are most triggered by those people we cherish, family, friends, other. Amen. And then we got an update from Mr. James Gable, the uncommon communicator. He went to YouTube because LinkedIn is crashing or glitchy. Awesome. Thanks for the heads up. So folks, if you're out there in LinkedIn land, head on over to YouTube and search No BS, and you'll find us and jump in there. So so back to you, Jen.
Of course.
The emotional so here's my observation when I see, because like, I mean, I'm not a parent, right?
Yep.
I mean, I think I played a significant role, at least contributed to my baby brother's path, kind of in a parental role, except that, I'm the big brother. Anyways, what I have observed, and this is just my assumption, that I see a lot of my friends that are parents now, the way they respond to their kids maybe doing something funky, we'll just say that, funky, it doesn't seem to come from a place of care or concern about the child. It seems to come from a place of fear of how they'll be seen, judged, or if their status will be impacted. Status as an amazing, perfect parent because their kid was rude or whiny or whatever. What do you think about that, Jen?
I think younger. I think when they're younger, because you're like in public, you're on an airplane, your thing where all you're doing is thinking about what everyone else is feeling about this situation, added onto the stress of you having to deal with it.
Yes.
So I think when they were younger, I think that's a default. I think when I'm on a plane or if I'm in a store, I'm sorry, like that. That's what parents will automatically do to the people around them, knowing that most of those people probably had kids and probably dealt with the exact same thing. And you know what? If they don't like it, then they're going to be able to get in their car and they're going to be able to leave. So It's like, it's one of those that where whatever moment or stress we're dealing with right then in our mind, everyone around me is feeling the exact same thing. And then I'm trying to like fix it and make it better, but also helping address every issue around me. And like, we can't do that.
Right. Although Dr. Carey says fire. Okay, so that's that little dynamic, Jen. Does that qualify as emotional clutter?
Absolutely.
Okay, why?
Because I'm going to say, when I say clutter, I think that it's like baggage. It's things that you're holding on to that are clouding maybe your judgment, your decisions, even your emotions. They're clouding it because you're not able to see the full picture. You're not able to see clearly what's happening.
Yes.
So that's why to me, it's clutter.
Yeah. And I like it. So for me, the way I make the connection is if it causes me to react without thinking, right? Maybe let's make some clarification. Reaction and responding are two very different things.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Reacting is an instinctual response, and then I'm like, oh shit, I just did that. Responding is like, let me think about how to respond in a way that has high benefit long-term and low negative impact right now. Lowest negative, sometimes it's not great. Whereas reacting is just my instinct. And I know me, I've spent years learning how to manage my reaction to things. But I know what it feels like when I'm in that and to me, it's just an emotional response, right? I'm in a reactive state and I say things and do things and my tone, all the things happen. And like for no good except for defending myself and me making myself good about the thing. And so again, back out to maybe this question was a little scary for the tribe out there because I'm not seeing any.
I mean, most of our questions are scary, but I again, they're real. And I think that's the reason, again, you and I keep coming back is that like some of them they're scary because they're causing us to have to do some introspection and we're having to think about ourselves. It was interesting because you talk about reaction, and I was having a conversation yesterday with a friend, and she has two boys, and we talked about stuff that I'm dealing with right now that we'll probably talk about later. And she's like, I see this in my older child, and I have helped my younger child be better in these situations. And she says, because she's like me, like I am an emotional, like I talk with my hands, my voice gets loud when I get excited, like, this. And I have two girls that do not respond to loud, elevated voices.
Yeah.
So let's just put that out there.
Yeah.
That is me in the way that I show up 99% of the time to everything, good, bad, or indifferent. I'm excited. I'm sad. I'm angry. I'm upset. I'm like over the moon. I just celebrate like everything. I show up the same way. And I have 2 children that do not react well to elevated voices when you are trying to make a point. So let's just and so we were talking about this, and she's like, I'm the exact same way. And she's like, and my older child, I have seen that the cause of how he shuts down. She's like, so I've helped train my younger child that, and she says, what I've learned is I've told him, when you see this and it's something that maybe I'm just doing and it doesn't make you feel good, tell me I don't deserve to be yelled at right now.
Ooh.
And she said, and so now if I'm doing something or I'm reacting and he says it, I can either go, oh yeah, I'm just elevated, whatever, or I need to just bring it down to be able to have a conversation. Like she's like, and it's different. It's completely different having the conversation. And now he's got a boundary. He's got a tool that he can use.
Yes.
And it doesn't mean he's right or she's wrong. It just means now we can kind of, right now, I'm not okay. Let's get back to a place where we're okay without it being an argument.
Yeah. Well, and so I think that's what adds to the complexity of the thing, which ties back into our relationship with ourselves, is it's not just the way I react. It's also the way they react, right? So then it's like bing, 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 bing. Like we're like, battle all of a sudden, nuclear meltdown, because I'm reacting to my feelings. I'm in an emotional state. That triggers them or like adds fuel to the fire. They react in an emotional state. And I remember this like explicitly with my family. I was working on me. And I would get really upset, like, wait a minute, you freaking weirdos. Like, why aren't y'all working on yourself? I'm not the only one that sucks here, right? Like, I'm not the only one that sucks. And it took a while for me to finally like, well, that doesn't matter. Like, it would be awesome if they would be more mature and more thoughtful and less emotional or less elevated, whatever. But that is not as important as me managing my response and reaction to the stimulus in front of me.
Because Jesse, who do we have control over?
Well, I would say we have the most control over ourselves, right? And if I suck at managing my own responses, reactions, instincts, emotions, I'm a nutcase for thinking that I could manage anybody else's.
Well, I think it's that piece, and it's what one of the many things I try to teach my children is I had to at first like acknowledge I cannot tell them they don't have the right to feel something.
Yes.
And like for me, it's like, well, Mom, why are you mad? I'm not mad. I'm just like they can feel that I'm mad. And they can think that I'm mad, and I can't get mad or tell them they're wrong for feeling something because of something that I've done.
Right. They get to have feelings.
Yes, and it could be what they're feeling, even though it's not right.
Yes. Oh my goodness. Oh, this is so good. All right, so we got Mr. Clyde King. He says, "Good morning, Clyde." Good morning, Clyde. All right, so let's go a little deeper. Here's another question, folks, out there in the Omniverse. I know the questions are scary, so at the very least, think about this, right? Now they get to think about it, Jen. You and I don't.
Okay, well then you get to hit this one first, and then we'll probably circle back with me. But yes.
When did you let something fester, and what did it cost you? Right. So back to like the emotional clutter, decluttering negative vibes. When did you let something fester and what did it cost you? Because, there's one thing to talk about, like, let it go. Don't sweat the small things, which sounds cool. But like, man, like, but it's going to happen again. Right. That was my but it's going to happen. It's never going to change. They may never change, but I can change. And so for me, is the how do I say it? The story. When did I let something fester and what did it cost me? There was, man, and this is the most embarrassing one. I was I foreman? Yeah, I was a foreman at the time. And Dan Little, amazing dude. We were on this one, and the superintendent we had for not the GC superintendent, our internal soup sucked. Like, he was never available. He was always at the bar. How do I know? Because I would go to the bar with him sometimes, right? He was always jacking around. He was always chasing whatever. He was always doing other things. And my state of mind was, I am going to force him to do his job. And so what would happen was I would create situations that the things that the superintendent was responsible for that I knew how to do, that I would normally do, I stopped doing. And I said, no, it's his job. He's going to do it. I'm going to make him do it, knowing that he wouldn't do it. Right? Like, duh, like so dumb. And then when he wouldn't do it, I would lose my mind. I would be pissed and angry, like just let it ruin my whole week. And I did this multiple times. And I remember Dan Little, I was the plumbing foreman. He was the sheet metal foreman. He just looked at me. He's like, Jess, like, you know how to do these things. Why are you waiting on him? I was like, well, because it's his freaking job. And he's like, okay, but you know he's not going to do it. He never does. I'm like, yeah, I know, but I'm going to make him do it. He's like, yeah, but Jesse, you're miserable. Why would you? And he's asked it like just like this. Why would you do this to yourself? Right? I was like, shut your mouth. Right? And don't you shut your mouth when you're talking to me. But like just now, I'm like, son of a bitch, I am doing this to myself. Right. And so the question is, why even worry about decluttering thing when people are ding dongs and they just shouldn't piss me off? Well, because the value is I can stop pissing myself off, right? I can stop running myself through the ringer, right? And so what did it cost me, right? That's the last I let that thing fester. And not only did I let it fester, I would peel the scab and say, here, look what you did. And I would peel the scab again, look what you did. They didn't do it. I was like, maybe they made the cut, but I kept peeling the scab. And what did it cost me? It cost me my joy. It cost me my focus, right? It cost me a lot. And it was me actively replaying that game or that baggage, that hurt, that was not healthy for me. Like, it just wasn't healthy for me. What do you think about that story, Jen?
Well, one, like, I can apply everything you said to raising kids.
Yeah.
Like, every piece of it is like you're projecting, and you know in your mind what you want them to do. You want what they need to do, and what you've taught them to do, and then they don't do it, and then you react, they react, and then you're angry and mad, and in the end, like, you're the dang parent.
Yes.
So where was the disconnect here? Where was the miscommunication? Where was are we taking the whole picture into consideration? Like, and I want to back it up a little bit, Jesse, and I want your perspective, because I think it's important, because we talk a lot. Is the baggage? I mean, I'm trying to parent 2 teenage girls, but this didn't start when I became a parent.
Ooh.
So that what you're holding on to, the emotional baggage, the things that have shaped you. Like, I grew up in a house, single father, 3 younger brothers, was the, I'm going to say, matriarchal type person since I was 10.
Yes.
Single father, working 3 jobs, being responsible for some things. So I have to own, I didn't really have a childhood when it comes to like some of the free flowing, just, oh, it's going to be great, everything's fine. Like, the responsibility, the accountability, the pressure, the things that have been on me who shaped who I was have been going even before that, but especially, since I was 10, I was the person in charge and had to make sure things were getting done. And I had to make sure that I had to help make my brothers do what they needed to do. And so raising someone as you're growing and trying to do that, like, those don't just go away when you turn 18 and you go to college.
Right. You carry them.
Yes.
And little insider information, they just popped up again here recently with Miss Jen. But I'm gonna get you. Luckily, we got the tribe. They
Hey,
dropped
good. Thank you.
Get you off the hook first.
Thank you.
I'm not sure. LinkedIn is doing some wonkiness because Carrie's
Okay.
comment didn't come through the feed, but I have it here.
Okay.
Dr. Carey says, work-related frustration and festering cost me peace, sleep, disconnection to my husband, and joy. It robs me every time. I mean, think about that. Sleep in your relationship with your significant other. Yes, right. Same. I know I've experienced this. Mr. Jim says, recently lost what I thought was a great relationship because they let their issues fester. Supported the person 100%, even to the point where my job was on the line. Right. And that's a complicated, because it's you're in the middle.
Yes.
And you're seeing, and that, that's a whole other line of thinking, but being in the middle, because that's kind of my I'll say one of my kryptonites is I'm a natural fixer because of my background and trauma and all those things. Like, right? Like I want to make sure things are working and people are getting along and people, things, we can fix it. But sometimes they don't want to fix it. Like they have to be willing.
Sometimes us fixing it doesn't fix it.
Correct. And so you kind of just gotta, man, I love you. And good luck. Yeah. Mr. Byron, Byron, Byron?
Oh my gosh. We got to give Byron a little bit of kudos right now. Byron, I am going to tell you that y'all's videos are so amazing. And Jesse is by far giving you credit for the scripts, for the ideas, for the stuff y'all are doing to promote Congress. So just on a side note.
Yes.
They are solid.
You ever need ideas, screenwriting, creativity for your videos, you need to call Byron. And you got to go watch the videos on Congress. So thank you, Byron. Mr. Albert Octavianus, my brother from the other side of the world. He said, it's like a wise saying, keeping the anger festered inside is like drinking poison willingly from the person who angered you, right? So holding on to whatever it is, it's exactly that. It's like, okay, this hurt me and I'm going to take a little bit more. And it wasn't me that did it to me. Somebody else or some condition or situation did it. And I'm going to drink it again and I'm going to drink it again. And it's only taking us, like Dr. Carey said, taking away our joy, interrupting our sleep. Oh my goodness, we got a bunch of stuff here. Mr. Jared Wilson says, I feel that, Jess. I had a similar person that I was working with for years ago thinking, I'll just do his job while he's not here and make sure that project's okay and cater to his emotion while he is on site. It wore me down for months before I realized it, right? And so, I mean, that's a really good point. Thank you, Jared, because on one end, it's like being combative. That was my style, right? Like I'm going to create the problem and I'm going to create like drama and raise hell and talk smack. The other side of that is, well, I'll just carry the weight, which doesn't help them either, right? And then long-term I end up becoming a martyr and developing resentment that either way, if I'm being aggressive and combative or being a martyr and, creating dependency or being an enabler, both of those paths lead to me having like baggage that is not healthy for me. What do you think, Jen?
Well, here's the word that comes to me. If something happens, you're in the middle of something and your first response is to justify, there's a problem.
Yeah.
If your first response is because when you start justifying whether your behavior or theirs, when you start justifying it, there's a bigger problem that is not being addressed.
I like it. All right. Quick reminder to everybody out there in the Omniverse, if you just popped on or didn't catch it at the beginning, you're new here, drop a blue heart in the comments so we can love on you and connect with you and keep the community growing. And at the top of the hour, we're going to do the randomizer. So any comments and stuff that get put in the chat, your name's going to be put in the raffle randomizer thing, and I'll hit the draw button. And if you get it, you will get free entry into the emotional bungee jumpers for the next session of the emotional bungee jumpers and the cultivation crew. Wah, wah, wah. All right, Jen. So let's go back. It's your turn, sister. And we've had some very recent conversations, like this week, recent conversations about some what I observed as festering stuff that came up. And it was a pretty significant thing. Now, what I'll say is significant is the way that you're looking at it now.
Yeah.
Compared to how you would have looked at it, let's just say when we did the first round of 5S conversations.
Yes.
What was that about?
Okay. So I think it was last weekend, maybe. I was cleaning the house, doing some stuff, needed to get some food for the kids, was going to send my daughter. And then we had a disagreement on what she didn't know for sure what to go do. I was trying to do that, clean the house. Anyway, it was fine. I'll just go with you. And that was my reaction. And exactly the way I said it to you is the way it was said. And then she started shutting down. And then we get in the car and then we're driving. And I'm like irritated, but I'm trying to like figure out what we're going to do so I can get back to the house. And I'm realizing as it's happening that I'm creating space between us. There's this is not good. And this is my 16-year-old daughter. And so we pull into where I was going to order food and I just park. And I said, I'm sorry. I shouldn't have snapped at you. Like I have a lot going on. And she looks at me. I am proud that I have raised her to be very emotionally intelligent. I don't like when she addresses it to me. She looks at me and she says, don't apologize. She goes, you apologize, but you don't change anything. And what sucks is when you can't argue with them because it's a behavior that you know you're working on and you know you're trying to do better. But from the way they're receiving it, you always do this. You always do. And again, probably hadn't happened in a couple of weeks. Probably have, you know what I'm saying? Like but again, I can't go, I don't always do this. And it's because you did this. And like that, it would be my normal way of fixing it because you're wrong and I'm right. And she said that to me. And of course, like it broke me because I am working on stuff and you know that, but I also know a 16-year-old who right now in the moment is saying probably some things that she knows are going to hurt a little bit. And then I had to like make a decision at that moment. I had to go like, I'm going to be right. I'm going to argue that she's not correct, or I had to just sit with it. And then I had to say, but I want to do better. And she says, I'm not sure that matters because in a couple of years, I'm not even going to be here anymore. I'm going to be out doing my own thing. And then at that point, like, I don't know how it can be better. I'm telling you, it broke everything in me. And this is not my child that I'm estranged from. This is not my child that I don't have very good conversations with, and that she is so emotionally intelligent, like putting boundaries in place and having very real conversations. Like she has been raised that way, having open, honest, authentic conversations. When it's directed at me, when I think I've got everything figured out and I'm making, I'm moving and shaking and hustling, and on the inside in my house, that's happening. Like it floored me.
Yeah. I love it.
And so I know I'm going to do full circle before I'll let you dig into it. So we navigate through that, and I had to just own, like, I had to just let this be here. I can't, there's nothing I can say right now that's going to make this any different in her head. So we finished what we were doing, driving back. to the house, and right before we got home, because I knew like at that point it's going to take us some days to get back to some normalcy. I just, I mean, if that, if not more, and I said, I'm proud of you. And she looked at me sideways, and I said, what you just said to me earlier, it broke me. It like, I am not okay, and I got to do a lot of thinking about this. But to have the courage to be able to say that to me, there are like, that is going to help you in so many relationships going forward.
Yes.
There's a lot of people, adults, that are still trying to figure that part out.
Yes.
So I know right now it's going to take us a bit to get past this, but as a mother, I am so proud of you.
Right.
And then we got home, and it took us 2 or 3 days before we even had a conversation, before things started getting a little bit better. But it sucked.
Thank you, Jen. And you're getting all kinds of props out there, right? Byron says, man, it takes a lot to apologize and admit fault. So kudos to you, Jen. We got Mr. Albert says, but apologizing is the first step of doing something about it. Absolutely. It is an action step. Now, kind of picking on the scab, when you said, I'm sorry, her response was, I don't want you to be sorry. I want you to change. Like, who cares if you're sorry?
Yeah.
Which is like, to your point, when you and I were talking about it, I'm like, oh man, good for her. Right? Like looking at it objectively, like, hell yeah, that's a boundary, a healthy boundary to have with people. And if she has the courage to have that with you, she is set up, right? Like she's going to do good for herself. Now, I know hearing is like, oh shit, like, wait, God, dog it. Which also reminds me of our friend Sean Moran on one of the emotional bungee jumper calls. He said this, I'm like, oh my God, like it's perfect. He's like, every single freaking human being on the world is contributing at least 1% to every problem they're experiencing. Right. And so that's kind of the thing. Back to the apologizing idea. Apologizing is it's okay. I get it. But owning my contribution to the situation is one of the things I do to minimize buildup of clutter. Right? Like, okay, this is how I contributed. Mm-hmm. Committing to changing the behavior is how I make it better. Mm-hmm. Apologizing is a Band-Aid. It doesn't change anything necessarily. And so committing to changing the behavior and her pointing directly at that, props to her. Let's see, we got
but I had to sit with it, Jesse, because in my mind, you've seen over the last 4 years, I am getting better. I am growing. Yes. I am addressing. I am very much being intentional, but I also am in spaces that she's not in. I'm also doing a lot of big things that she's not seeing all of those things. She is one child that lives in a house that is dealing with a moment. And it would have been so easy for me to go, you're wrong.
Yep.
I am getting better, and I am doing things to not create these topics. It would have been so easy, and it would have been right. That didn't mean it needed to happen.
Correct. And that's the thing, right? You can be right and lose.
Yes.
Or you can be flexible and like, she's a grown woman. She's going to be out the house here pretty soon. Like, there's some things to change. And I mean, here's one thing that, coaching executives and different people that I've had the opportunity to serve. And it came directly from my life. Everybody knows, right? I've wrestled with addiction for a very long time. This is what it looks like in my head, is to Byron's point. It is important to self-reflect on where we used to be versus where we are now. Now, here was the problem. I decided to get sober again. And I say decided, I was motivated by the state of Texas to not drink. And so I'm 3 days, I haven't had a drink. And I'm expecting everybody to have a parade for me and honor me. And right. I mean, it's a little bit of an exaggeration, but my expectation was that they wouldn't question me. They would just accept that I'm sober now. But the truth, like the reality was when they would like, are you okay? What, like, I don't want to make you mad because I don't want you to, I'm like, what are you talking? Like, I'm not drinking anymore. What I had to come to terms with was, and as a parent, especially, right, in your situation, is I've given them decades of evidence that when things go sideways, this is going to be my behavior.
Yes.
That's where the always, right? You always do this. Like, no, I don't always do it. There was one time I didn't. Technicality, right? No value in that discussion. I have this decades of evidence that I've given them. And so there's this shadow that is casted, and that's what they see is the shadow of evidence in the way that I behave, operate, and have behaved, operated, and functioned in the past.
Mm-hmm.
And just because I decided to change my behavior, they don't have enough evidence. So I have to like let this shadow shrink by building another shadow that is evidence that that my behavior has indeed changed based on all of the other things. How does that land with you, Jen?
It's that piece. And again, I always have to like in myself and own, like I have 2 teenage daughters. So I have to start with that. There's a lot going on in the lives and the mind and the growth and the drama of 2 teenage daughters, much less outside of our house. So like I have to start with that to give myself some grace of that. Yes, they're going to say things that they know are probably going to hit a little harder because they know me a little better. And so I have to allow myself that to realize that yes, and this is what I can control.
Yes.
And like I have to start with that because the emotions, boyfriends, this friend, betrayal, like all the things that they're dealing with, along with they're hurting, they're upset, they're stressed, and then I raise my voice and I yell or I fine, we'll do like that is they're such tiny things, but in the scheme of their world and their life and whatever, I'm just like, I mean, I just like did this. But again, I've probably been doing that for 16 years. I've been doing that for 14 years. And there's been times where that then turned into something bigger. So I can't just like blame them because, well, now it doesn't. Like exactly what you're saying. I can't, I've got to like rep over and over, reps over and over and over again. Oh, she's not going to get upset. Oh, she's not going to raise her voice. Oh, she's not going to scream. And I still suck at it. And I'm trying. And I still suck at it.
It's reps, right? I mean, so there's a lot, and I need to stay on pat because I'm getting excited. But we got a lot of comments. So we got Janice Okalani. She says, "So true." Hello, Janice.
Hello. I think she's Blue Heart. I don't think she's been here before. But Janice, if you are this is your first time joining us, if you'll just put a Blue Heart because it lets us know you're new, and then people can connect with you. But thank you so much for contributing.
Yes, absolutely. And then we got this rascal here.
I was thinking about him yesterday. I was like, I have not heard from Lance. What's going on? And then here he is.
You know, he's out there changing the world focus. He checks in on me quite a bit, and he's doing well. My brother, he says, yes, past operations cast a long shadow. The work to get out from under it, it's a heavy lift because we just want to be absolved of all of it. And that's not a reasonable expectation. Now, we should, and this is where it gets dicey, we should ignore the shadows of other people. And we'll talk a little bit more about that here in a second. Dr. Care, this shadow thing kind of working out.
I know that may be another whole conversation.
The shadow of behavior, incredible perspective of our past patterns of behavior. Yes, thank you, ma'am. James Gable says we're always building shadows. I love the concept of building, and that's it. We gotta that's it. I have a shadow of evidence, regardless of what I've decided or what I'm trying to do or how I'm trying to be. There is a shadow of evidence that I need to overcome, and I need to give the people around me grace for them expecting me to be the same ding dong I used to be. because I've given them years of evidence that that's the only way I know how to be.
Right.
And so I've got to give them some space to like test the waters and be apprehensive because it's my fault. I'm the one who created it.
Yep.
Oh, look, Janice, she says she was here
Okay.
last time.
Okay.
Awesome. We still love you, Janice. Thanks for coming back, my
Yeah,
sister.
thanks for coming back, because sometimes people come and then we don't ever see them again. So thank you so much for being here again.
Oh, my goodness. All right. So we're getting into it. We got about 10 minutes before the randomizer. And so here is the next question for the Omniverse and for us, Jen. Mm-hmm. What are the signals for an emotional cleanup? Like, what things do you pay attention to that say, oh man, I got some bag. I need to let go of that. This is not okay. I need to do something about it. And so folks out there, the tribe members, like part of the, like a huge value point, not everybody knows this because we don't have the same conversations, but I get to talk to people, the lurkers mostly, that watch the live stream and will tell me like, man, I watched such and such live stream and so said this in the comments. I watched the replay and there was some really good nuggets and advice in the comments. And so you may not know that your comment, your cheat code, your practice that helps you be successful as a human being and serving others. But I'm telling you guys, other folks are reading your thoughts and ideas and it is helping them. So that's a little bit of peer pressure there for you to share your things, because we're all learning together. As one of us grows, we all grow. So that's the question. What signals do you pay attention to that let you know, like, ooh, I need to do something about that. Like, it's not okay that I'm getting pissed off about this in this way. So Jen, do you have anything that kind of triggers you to say, wait a minute, I need to pump the brakes here. This isn't okay necessarily.
Well, there's a couple things I want to hit with this. Is one, I want to answer the question, and then I want to tell you kind of two ways to address it, I guess. So what are the signals for an emotional cleanup? And you and I talk a lot, and I think you've helped me identify when there's something that I'm not even maybe aware of. But if somebody does something, somebody that is in your space, is in your world, works at your company, is in your family, doesn't matter. When that person does something, and it could be a big deal, it could be a nothing, and you react. Not just like you say stuff, but you get mad, you get angry, you get irritated, you get frustrated. When somebody, and I'm going to say somebody, because I want you to like think about a person, not a situation. When somebody does something and your first reaction, even inside your head is like, oh, roll my eyes, like, get up, like get mad, get angry. That's the beginning of some stuff that's probably not going to be the right thing to do. I'm just going to say. So I think the first step is identifying that you may not have 10 or 15 of them. You may have 2 or 3 of them. So like for the next couple weeks, number one is like, just document, like have a little list hidden in your phone under your notes for whatever. And just when somebody does something in a meeting, on a phone call or a phone call that's coming in, but you just ignore it, whatever it is, like start documenting the people that cause you to roll your eyes, cause you to take a breath, cause you to get angry, and you have no reaction. You just start documenting it. Because going way back, and probably a couple years ago, I know that you and Adam and I, we were doing some morning calls, and we were on a call, and I'm not going to name specific names, but a person came up. A name came up that like, oh, this person drives me crazy. And this person does this every time we're together. And this person reacts this way. They think they know whatever it is. A person came up and the 3 of us were talking. And I think your response was, and then what are you going to do about it?
Yeah.
You get 2 choices. Address it or let that shit go. You get 2 choices. So when something is irritating you and frustrating you, address it. Turn around. This person does these things, and this is why I react. Hey, so-and-so. Like when we talk, when you do these things, this is what it does to me, and this is how I respond, and I really want to fix this and make it better. So let's try to figure out how we can do that. Or this person, I have no control over. they're not really anything in my life other than just they irritate me. Let it go. Let it go. Let it be what it is. And then when you cross paths, just go, it is, this is the world. There's all kinds of things going on that we get to see on social media, that we get to interact with every day. And then we leave it and we go on to whatever the amazing things we're doing in our life.
Yes.
Those are your two options.
Yes.
And either way, you take ownership of one of them. You take the ownership, whether it's I'm going to go and address it or I'm going to let it go. And at that point, it's gone.
Yeah.
That's my thoughts, Jesse.
Yeah. No, I think two things, or maybe just one really important thing, giving people that last point of, right, address it or let it the hell go. Like, those are your options. No, there's three options. Okay. You can carry it forever and be pissed.
Yes. If you want to do something, then there's two options. Yes.
Yeah. If you want the situation to change, or you want a different outcome than what you're currently having, address it or let it go. I had I've told this story before. Ed Mauricio, he's a pipe fitter that I work with in I was complaining about the water. This was back when we didn't have freaking water bottles, right? We had a 5-gallon cooler. We put water in it. We rarely had ice. And I would bitch and complain about how inhumane it is not to have cold water. And he said, man, you're right. And he gave me $20. He said, you're in charge of buying ice every day now. Like, and the lesson was, don't complain about anything you're not prepared to take action upon. And I was like, oh, if you don't want to do anything about it, shut your damn mouth, Jesse, right? Like, don't complain. Take action or let it go. One or the other. Man, we got a lot. Oh, look, we got Miss Sarah. She says, good morning, Sarah.
Look what else we got another blue heart.
Do we? Oh, yeah. Look at that rascal. You know that? And right when we were talking smack about him, right?
I think that's the only reason he wrote something. So you heard his name.
And we got some nice pointers in here as well. Miss Janice Okalati, she says, I try to keep my mouth closed and think before I speak. Breathe. Yes, totally challenging, especially for me. Jared shares, I get quiet, which if you know me is weird. It happened last week. I was stuck in my head and one of my close coworkers hit me with, you're off, what's up? And I think that's a tactic, right? Surround yourself with amazing people that are going to like check on you or call you out and point at the things. Absolutely vital.
I agree, because I know I've done that for people, that I know how they show up. And I'm like, ooh, something's off.
What's up?
And It's one thing to acknowledge it. It's another to go, I want to be the person on the receiving end where someone else is maybe frustrated or irritated. I want to go, hey, what's going on here? Are you okay? Because sometimes we need those people to call us out.
Yes, 100%. Because we can't see it. Like, I know I couldn't see a lot of my stuff until people had them. I'm like, you know what? I am pissed off. What am I pissed off about? Yes. So for me, we got about 2 minutes before we do the randomizer. And I want to give the tribe out there a little bit of time to think and respond to this, right? What's one practice, which you've already started answering this question. What's one practice that helps you let go of the emotional clutter you had been holding on to? What's your cheat code for dealing with the thing? Now for me, and I've done a lot of work, Jen, I spent a lot of time in my head and really evaluating here's so people know, I am an expert manipulator, and I have been since I was a teenager. The one thing that I think has helped me the most, and this isn't do this is more of a confession, but kind of how I turned it into healthy behavior. The one thing that I learned early on was very few people are aware that they react to things. And if I could adjust my behavior intentionally and make it look like a reaction, I could make people believe a certain thing about me. Mm-hmm. Does that make sense?
100%. Yes, absolutely.
And so I'll give you a real quick example. I'm not crazy about country music, but there was a good looking lady that I wanted to dance, that I wanted attention from, and I could tell she liked country music. as soon as that next country song comes, I would get excited. Oh, you like country? Like, yeah, I love country. Want to dance? Like, that sounds kind of dumb, but it was that sort of a thing. So fast forward now, one of the signals for emotional cleanup is when I have that internal feeling of like, oh, where's that coming from? Like, I don't react like I used to, or as frequently as I used to, but I will feel it, and I'll replay something that's not in the current situation. Like, I'll bring something, I'm like, whoa, there's something there that I need to look at and clean up, because that's a separate thing. Why am I doing that? There's some resentment that I'm carrying that I need to deal with that. So for me, it is that now, but because I spent so much time in my head, it used to be like it used to be the indicator that I went off track was not doing what Janice recommended. The indicator was the look on somebody else's face after I bit their head off. Like, oh shit, I just reacted. Too late. I can't, like, I already caused the damage. So it was that, right? Like, oh, I'd see the damage I caused. And then I got to a point where I could feel it. Like, my eyes would squint. I would or I would take a real quick, short breath, because I was ready to like hit them. And like, oh, shut your mouth, let it pass. And so those were some of the indicators for me that, like, okay, there's something there that I need to look at. And then also, like Jared said, having amazing people in my life totally accelerated my growth in that space. And so I'll answer the last question after we do the
I was going to say, we can wrap up with that for sure.
Yeah. Okay. So let me present. How do I do that? Share screen. I probably should have set this up beforehand, huh, Jen? Randomizer. All right, here we go. So we are going to hit draw. Sound effects. James Gable, the uncommon communicator, Mr. Gable. I will be harassing you, and I know I owe somebody a little bit of harassment. For last time they won the randomizer. I'll be sending you a calendar invite. If I have your email address, I will send it to your email address. If I don't, I will hit you up in the DMs to make sure you are at least have access to the thing. If you can't make it, totally understand. But congratulations, Mr. Gable. All right, where are we? What is going on here? Let's do that one right there. Perfect. Oh my goodness. Oh, look, he's celebrating. Yes. Mr. Hoots is sharing. My signal is multiple phone calls to Jess. Thank you, Adam. And that's a really, we talked a little bit about having people in your space that can, like, point it out and say, hey, look at this. And I'll say, being that person for several people, it is extremely meaningful to me that I get the privilege and opportunity to be that person for people. So if you're not in the practice of, like, reaching out to folks and it feels wonky or uncomfortable, know this, like, I receive that as, like, the ultimate signal of me being a better person. Like, it is extremely meaningful to me. So that is a gift that you can be giving to people by simply saying, hey man, I'm going to work on this thing. I need some help. Will you help me, please? That's a huge gift that you'd be giving them. Look at that. Sarah celebrating James. Woohoo. Oh, Sarah, I know what Sarah, she's like, oh, I'm going to get him. I'm going to go into him. Because Sarah is a very seasoned, certified emotional bungee jumper. All right, so back to the question. Where is it? Last question. Drop your comments again so we could share and help other people. What is one practice that helps you let go of emotional clutter that you have been holding on to? Jared says, I will intentionally procrastinate things that are good for me until I have guilt for not dealing with my stuff. I think that
It's a step.
if it works, right? What about you, Jen? Or you already said that, right? What is
Well, I have two things. I think two specific practices that I have learned help me get closer to to not letting whatever that clutter is like have a grasp on me and my decisions. The first one is saying no. Like I'm not good at saying no. In fact, I will say yes, having no idea how I'm going to accomplish something. And so, no, across the board, like, yes, I can say no to my kids because at that point I can say no. But in general, like practicing saying no eliminate some of those second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth questions and stresses and whatever those are. And so it's in the moment, like being able to say no. Like I'm going to tell you, high performers are not good at that. They're just not. Because they've gotten where they are because they just make things happen. They do things. They take on the ownership of other stuff. They take on work from other things. Hey, I can figure this out. And that's what gets us to be where we are, but also practicing just saying no. And it could be simple things at first, but like practicing saying no has allowed me to be able to take some ownership back. The second one, this is my cheat code because everything in my brain reacts and is ready to like the attack, defensive, all the things. Okay. That's just like how my brain is wired. And I'm not sure it's ever going to 100% change. So I think 1A or 2A is that no one can see inside my head. So I have to acknowledge that. And so like, it's okay. There's not like a sneak peek that they can see behind my eyes or anything. And the second one is when I can feel that I am ready to I'm emotionally attached to something, I make myself just listen to the words coming out of their mouth.
Yes.
Where take the emotion out of it, the conversation, I can feel it. I'm just going to listen and I'm going to pay attention to everything they say. And I'm going to acknowledge and I'm going to respond to the words they're saying. Not the emotion that I'm carrying, not the relationship that maybe was there before, not the things that I even think they're implying. I am focusing on the words coming out of their mouth, and I will reply and acknowledge that. And then once I get out of that heated or that moment, then I can take some time, reflect. Is there any follow-up? Is there something else I'm doing? Like it allows me time to think. Because I am real good at Johnny on the spot, making a decision, and later on going, I probably could have handled that better.
Yep. Oh my! You know what I just remembered, Jen? Are we doing an after party today?
I think so. Yes.
Okay, I forgot all about that.
I set it up. Yes.
Good. Well, thank you for excellente. There it is. Ding dong. Not you, ding dong. Me, ding dong. All right, I'll be throwing the link around here in a second. So Carrie says, Dr. Carrie says, pray, asking for clarity, peace, grace to myself, and exhale. Well, I think that grace to ourselves, absolutely. You know, this idea about no, Jen, struck a chord. I learned no's a complete sentence. Mr. James says, does not compute. Saying no does not compute. Yeah, it is a skill that, and to your point, we need to be practicing it. I think for me, there's maybe 2 or 3 things. One is when I finally understood the difference between boundaries and rules, right? Boundaries that's a personal thing. I've decided to set about, and no falls into that, right? I've decided here, I'll give you like a hard example. Everybody in the world gets one shot at taking advantage of me. They get one opportunity to minimize me, take me for granted, and take advantage of me. And once they've done that, they get no more shots. Mm-hmm. That is my boundary. Mm-hmm. I don't tell you, hey, Jen, if you take advantage of me, you can't do it again. Mm-hmm. Because you're like, whatever, dude. That's my thing,
Yeah.
right? That is my boundary. A rule is, hey, when we have a call, let's start on time. Can we agree that we're going to start on time and there's going to be maybe some consequences or smack talk for not being on time and not following through? So in terms of like minimizing the emotional clutter, getting clear on what the rule was and getting clear on what my boundary is and my responsibility to it. And then the last thing was, it's a lot harder, but deciding to remove people from my life. Like I would say a graduated version of saying no.
Mm-hmm.
And what I mean by that is like, I didn't completely disown them, but the clearer way to say it is I've removed any and all expectation from those people. I expect nothing, absolutely nothing from them. Or more appropriately, I expect them to be shitheads. And I've given up hope for them. I will still be there for them. I'm still present, and and I'm talking family, like all of the above. Mm-hmm. But I have eliminated, removed, squashed my expectation and hope that they will be better, nicer, whatever the thing is. Those are my tactics for letting go or just not even building any emotional clutter. Is that too aggressive, Jen?
No, you're taking ownership of the things you can control.
Yes.
That's what you're taking ownership of. There are things outside of you that those people, you can't control what they're going to do. You cannot control how they're going to treat you, if they're going to show up on time. Like, you can't control those things. You may think you can, but you can't. And so you are taking control of the things. You're taking ownership of the things you can control.
Yes. So, Jen, you want to transition us into closing thoughts while I go and dump the link and all the chats and comments and stuff, please?
Yes. Yeah, so I do want to address, yes, Byron, we're trying Google Meets again. I know Jesse tried it on something earlier and he felt like it was not as janky as Teams. So we are going to try Google Meets again. That's going to be the links that Jesse's putting in the chat. You could also go to No BS with Jen and Jess page, and there's also a link there that you can go and find the link and all that. So I was telling you, Jesse, this morning I was scrolling and there was a post by Greg McEwen. And there was something he wrote in his post, which I think is very relevant to the conversation we had today. It said, a boundary isn't just a defense mechanism. It's a design choice. It said, and I think based on what you just said, it's not us reacting. You going, I'm not gonna answer your call because you didn't show up on time. That's a reaction. Versus this is by design. This is how I'm designing my life. Those are the boundaries. It resonated. And then I think based on what you just said, that ownership piece, like you're not building a building based on, okay, this didn't work, but this will, whatever. Like, it's by design. You are designing the life that is going to help you have less stress. You are going to be able to have better relationships. You are going to be able to have more success, because some of these things that have been weighing you down. When I say emotional baggage, and Adam said he wasn't sure, he was still trying to figure what that is. It's the stuff that's weighing you down, that every time you take a step, it's like a little bit harder to move forward because you got stuff pulling you back. How do you let those things go so that you can just completely go full speed ahead?
Yeah. I mean, it's the dead weight, right? It's the stories, the slights, the hurt feelings that keep coming up that should have gone away when you were 13. Right? I mean, but just us in general, right? Like the thing happened, it's done, let it go, but I can't because like, oh, okay. That's the baggage, right? Mm-hmm. Like that's the stuff that is keeping us from. For me, the most important part is it's the stuff that's keeping me from serving people to the degree that I actually can. Right. It's not necessarily about me feeling good and not being angry. It's really more like this shit. If I don't let it go, man, I'm not going to be able to contribute to people's lives the way I want to. And so I just post a link on all the things. And yet, like Jen said, we were trying Google Meets link because the Teams link was hard for people. And Byron was on the other call not too long ago. So, and it seemed to have worked. So yes, we're doing the Google Meets. Yeah, we'll see what happens. And folks, appreciate y'all sharing your thoughts and all the comments and insights that you brought to the conversation. And we'll see you on the after party. We'll see you later. Peace. Chicken banana.